Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the second round of the 1967 season, the Monaco Grand Prix. It was held on the 7th of May on the streets of Monaco. It had 19 entries, 16 of them took part in the race with 10 ending up retiring, for various reasons. The race was run over 100 laps and it took a little over 2.5 hours to complete. Jack Brabham started the race from pole but retired on the opening lap due to an engine blowout. Bandini started second on the grid. Regretfully, he had a horrible accident on lap 81 and died a few days later in hospital. Surtees started the race from third and retired on lap 3 with engine problems. Denny Hulme was fourth on the grid. Clark fifth. He retired on lap 42 thanks to a broken suspension. And Jackie Stewart started the race from sixth but retired on lap 14 thanks to a broken differential. Amidst the chaos, Denny Hulme slid into the lead of the race and won the Monaco Grand Prix from Graham Hill, who climbed up from 8th. He was 1 lap down. Chris Amon, who started the race from 14th, ended up in 3rd. He was 2 laps down. Climbing from 10th to 4th was McLaren, who was 3 laps down. Pedro Rodriguez climbed from 16th to 5th. He was 4 laps down. And Mike Spence, who started the race from 12th, rounded off the top 6. He was 4 laps down as well. Jim Clark was the fastest man of the race, posting a time of 1 minute 29.5 seconds. Here we are once again at the fantastic Monaco street circuit, where a lap starts off with a long run into turn 1, San Devot, a fast open right-hander that takes us up the hill and into Massanet, a medium-speed left-hander that leads into Casino Square, a medium-speed right-hander with a very nasty bump on the exit. We now go down the hill and into Mirabeau, a slow right-hander that takes us further down and into Station Hairpin, one of the most iconic corners in Formula 1. From here we move on to Portier, a slow right-hander. Watch your exit speed, you don't want to hit the wall on the exit. This takes us into the tunnel, a unique feature only found on this circuit. After this comes Port Chicane, a tight, fast left-right chicane, by far the most dangerous corner on the track. From here we move on into Tabac, a medium-speed left-hander. Once again, watch your exit speed. Those walls don't look too friendly. Lastly, we come into the gasometer, a tight 180-degree right-hand hairpin that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Monaco street circuit. So, qualifying Monaco. And as you can see, the AI is as fast as ever around here, so obviously I am going to skip qualifying because I would get an unfair pole, so that wouldn't be very good around here because the AI tends to be quite slow in the race as well, so I would get an unfair advantage. Well, not that it matters, this is Monaco after all, so we know that a lot of people will retire. As we take a look at the previous winners at this Grand Prix, quite a few people have won it, and we did win it quite a few times actually. But anyway, we have Jim Clark on pole with Graham Hill in second, Epi Vaitzes in 5th, and rounding off the top 6 is Chris Amon. In 7th we have Joe Siffert, followed by Jackie X in 8th. Then in 9th we have Jack Brabham and Chris Irwin in 10th. In 11th we have John Love, followed by Johnny Servoz Gavin in 12th. 13th is Guy Ligier, followed by Dan Gurney in 14th. In 15th we have Pierce Courage, and Jochen Rindt in 16th. Denny Hulme is 17th, Richie Ginster 18th, 19th is Jackie Stewart, Mike Fisher 20th, 21st Mike Spence, Bruce McLaren is 22nd, followed by Bob Anderson in 23rd and Sam Tingle in 24th. Then in 25th we have Joe Bonnier, David Hobbs is 26th, 27th is Mike Parks, Lorenzo Bandini 28th, 29th Lucky Botha, Jean-Pierre Beltois 29th, 30th, 31st is Dave Charlton, and obviously Andy Hicks is 32nd since we didn't qualify. So that is the grid lineup for today's race. Hopefully a good one. No, not really. I don't know, I just felt like having to spoil all of that. Anyway, we are off and there's a Ferrari already stuck on the starting grid, so whoever that was is out of the race already, as well as someone else. they were stuck on the grid as we come into San Devot and crash into Lucky Bossa, who is kind of holding us up. And there's some smoke coming out of one of the cars up ahead. And who is it? It's Mike Spence, who is also out of the race. So we have quite a few retirements already, and even though we've just barely started. And here is a replay of the start. A bit slow to react on my end, but that doesn't make too much of a difference. And there we see one of the Ferraris that retired immediately, and there's another car on the grid there. But I think that car will eventually get going as we now come into San Devot and crash into Bossa. Obviously I didn't want to do that, but I was kind of in the way. And here is the replay of Mike Parks. He gets pushed to the side by one of the cars, and he's obviously out. And here is a replay of Mike Spence coming up the hill towards Mustanet, and there it is, smoke coming out of the rear of his car. He pulls to the side, crashes into the wall, and he is out. And now something a little bit different. I jumped to the end of the lap. This is not just to show you the fastest lap of the race. It was Graham Hill, and he actually managed to post the fastest lap of the race. But we get back to the retirements. This is still on the opening lap, and well, I guess we are going to make this a tradition from now on, as obviously a lot of people retired this race. So without further ado, cue the music. Don't worry, I'm not going to go away. I'll still be here commentating on random stuff, but yeah, this is pretty much the entire race, so buckle in and enjoy, I guess, because this is going to be one wild ride, I guess, maybe, who knows. Oh man, Monaco, you and weird AI. I really wish that someone would fix the AI around this circuit, because it's starting to be quite frustrating. I mean, at the start of the 60s it was fairly okay. At least we got four or five people finishing the race, so that was kind of acceptable for Monaco, because even with the modern cars it's very rare, at least in my case it was very rare to see more than a handful of people finishing the race. But this is a bit absurd that the AI is crashing left and right out of the race. I really don't know, and I don't know enough programming to be able to fix it myself, so there's that. And even if I did, my programming experience is in Pascal and QBasic, which are very old programming languages, so I wouldn't be able to do anything anyways. So yeah, that's how old I am. I only know ancient programming languages, and that was quite a interesting little stunt by Joe Sifford there in the Honda. I don't know how he managed to jump over the wall, but he somehow did. And yes, obviously this is still going on, and it will go on for quite a while still, so again, I really wish this would... Wow, that was quite interesting. But yeah, I really wish that the AI, or rather the AIW, because that AI waypoints, those are the things that kind of cause these ridiculous and hilarious accidents, would be fixed. That would help a lot. Now obviously this wasn't all that much of a crash, but anyway, we now move on to lap 10, and I'm chasing after Sam Tingle, trying to catch up, and I go a little bit wide. I somehow touch the wall, and that sucks me through the wall and out of the circuit, so that's the end of my race, unfortunately. Here is a replay, and here is a slowdown of that. You can see I barely touch the wall, but then it sucks me straight into it, and well, unfortunately that's the end of our race after only 10 laps. We were doing kind of okay, but that is that. And obviously the retirements continued. This is Graham Hill, who retired about 5 laps after me. And obviously even more retirements, because why the bloody hell not? Again, I'm repeating myself, but I really wish that someone would fix the AI waypoints. That would be so nice. Especially on tighter circuits like Monaco, where, you know, weird things can happen. And here is the final retirement of the race. Sam Tingle, who was actually leading the race at this point, quite impressive, I would say. But we now move on to the end of the race as we take a look at Pedro Rodriguez coming around to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. And of course, this wouldn't be a Monaco Grand Prix if things wouldn't continue to be very, very weird. And here are everyone who... those were all the people who finished. Rodriguez and McLaren just 2, so 30 people retired during the race. Obviously, we number ourselves among them. Kind of not my fault, but kind of was. I should have been a bit more careful coming out of Portier, but then again, walls don't suck you into them. They tend to, push you away from them with equal and opposite force. That's kind of how physics works in the real world, but obviously F1 Challenge uses its own set of physics, so whatever, let's just move on. And here are the career statistics. This was Andy's 152nd Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 16 pole positions, has set 29 fastest laps. His best finishes in first, has completed 96 races, 75 of them in the points, has won 44 Grand Prix, 4 at the Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 8 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 516 points, has retired 56 times, has experienced 3,214 out of 3,998 laps, has 7 bronze trophies, 16 silver trophies, 44 gold trophies, and as an extension, 44 podiums. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Brabham and Rodriguez sharing the lead, Graham Hill and Bruce McLaren sharing third, Pierre Scarridge 5th, David Hobbs 6th, the last person to score points is Denny Holm in 8th. We are down in 24th, and bringing up the bottom of the driver's standings is Chris Irwin down in 32nd. So that's pretty much it for the driver's standings. Let's now move on to the constructors. And here we have Brabham and Cooper sharing the lead, with Team Lotus and Bruce McLaren Motor Racing sharing third. 5th are Rec Parnell Racing, Bernard White Racing 6th. The last team to score points are Ferrari in 7th, and bringing up the bottom of the constructors are Joe Bonnier Racing Team. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize this last time, but I somehow forgot to put Bruce McLaren Motor Racing into the constructors standings. Somehow no one noticed, which is kind of weird, but oh well, I noticed my mistake and brought them back in. It wouldn't have made too big of a difference anyway, because Bruce McLaren retired from the South African Grand Prix. So, yeah, I corrected it, so it should be fine now. Anyway, let's move on. That was the Monaco Grand Prix. Well, kind of par for the course at this point, really. We know from pretty much the 50s that the AI is very dumb around this circuit. During the early part of the 60s, things started to look a little bit better, but then again, it seems that in the past couple of seasons, it took a turn for the worse. But yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say about that. So we'll just move on. And our next race is the Dutch Grand Prix at the fantastic Zandvoort circuit. I really love that circuit. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better. I need to try and find a good setup for the car, because we saw at the South African Grand Prix that we were struggling quite a bit. It wasn't so much of a deal in Monaco. Well, partially because the AI was kind of, crashing all over the place, and partially because the AI in general is slower on Monaco than it probably should be. So yeah, I really, really hope that I will be able to come up with a good setup for the car. Mostly I need to deal with gear ratios and finding out how to make the car accelerate a little bit faster. And that's kind of it. Since we don't have wings, there's no real way I can improve grip on this car, so we'll see. But that is the end of this video, and there's not much more I can add to any of this, so yeah, don't forget to vote for next season's team. Link is in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.